it's Ducky, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit new. I have a media sketchbook, which is for all the films, TV shows, books, and etc. that I read. And today we are going to be catching up on all my films I watched in January. I'm pretty sure it was only films. Yeah, January was all films, and most of them were in the cinema because I have a cinema pass, but a couple of them were watched at home as well. Let's get into it. Okay, the first film we watched this year was Primate. I'll try not to give any spoilers in this video and just give a quick overview of how I found the films, just because I know I find it really annoying if I see spoilers for something. I'm pretty easygoing with films and definitely not a critic. I enjoy most films I watch, and Primate was one of them. It was a good film, I enjoyed it. If you struggle with gore, then this definitely is not the film for you. It has to be one of the goriest films I've ever seen. I think it was inspired by the story about the lady who owned a chimpanzee or something from a really young age and hand raised it and stuff, and one day it killed her, and I think it was quite gruesome in the way it killed her. And this isn't really anything like the story, other than the fact there's a chimpanzee. I think it's a chimpanzee. It might be an ape. I don't know monkeys that well. And it kills people, which you probably know that going into Primate anyway. The next film we watched was Silent Hill. I watched the first two Silent Hill movies for the first time ever, and they were breathtaking. I know, I should have watched them years ago, but I got to them finally. And I have new favourite films. I didn't really know much about Silent Hill before this. I'd only ever played the demo for Silent Hill PT, which was amazing, and I'm aware that's really hard to get hold of, so I'm glad I was able to play it. It was my best friend, who is my ex-boyfriend, and it was his brother who gave us the game, and they have a bit of a difficult relationship, so I definitely don't have access to that anymore. I now really want to play the rest of the games. And then pretty much immediately after, we watched Silent Hill Revelation. I watched these films in preparation for the new Silent Hill film, which I watched later in the month. I don't tend to research films before I see them, just because I don't want spoilers or anything. So I didn't realise that these films are not connected to the new one at all. But I'm still so glad I watched them. Really enjoyed the storytelling and the visuals, especially for the fact that they're quite old films now. They're just stunning, breathtaking. I love them. I have fallen down a bit of a rabbit hole of Silent Hill hyperfixation, especially right after I watched the films. And then we're on to The Bone Temple. I absolutely love the 28 Days Later franchise, and the newer films are no different. You can tell this wasn't just a nostalgia cash grab like a lot of the films that are coming out at the moment, I feel. The newer films are just as good as the originals, with a good storyline, interesting characters, and just beautiful films. Bone Temple was great, but also very sad. I won't say why, but I left the film very sad. I knew there were characters based on Jimmy Savile in the film, and I was a little unsure of how that would be, because I'm old enough to know that he was a massive nonce, but not old enough to have really known him for anything else. But I was pleasantly surprised at how they integrated that into the movie. It was both funny and also very fucked up. It felt very British. The next one we saw was Return to Silent Hill. this was another good movie. Did I like it as much as the originals? No, but I did enjoy the film, yes. I watched an info dump video on the Silent Hill 2 game literally days before this film. So pretty early on I realised that this film was based on that game. So I kept waiting for things I knew about the game, only for it not to happen. This isn't a one-to-one copy of the game, and I'm really glad it isn't. I really like the changes they made to it, and I know my partner came out of the film feeling very confused, but I feel like that's kind of the whole point with all the Silent Hill things. It's not really necessarily meant to make the most sense, because I think it's meant to be a bit of a psychological horror.
The final film of the month was Iron Lung.
Iron Lung was an interesting movie. Firstly, it was entirely directed and funded by the YouTuber Markiplier, and for the majority of the film, it was just Markiplier acting and an off-screen voice. I went in knowing these constraints and I was really impressed. The film is majorly confusing, and I know a lot of people have complained about that. I didn't mind it. I think that was the point. You were meant to feel the same confusion as the character, I think. However, a fair amount of the movie did feel rather slow, which I struggled a bit with, which I think was most people's complaint about the film. It was another pretty gory movie, but I enjoyed it. So we drew Primate, Silent Hill, Silent Hill Revelation, 28 Years Later Bone Temple,
Return to Silent Hill, and Iron Lung.
So those are all the films I watched in January. I think my favourite drawing has to be The Return to Silent Hill. Which one was your favourite drawing? And are there any films coming up that you're excited about? I'm really excited about a couple of different films. I'm really excited about The Magic Faraway Tree, which is probably a little bit different to what I normally watch. But I was obsessed with the books when I was a kid. I never knew anyone who'd read them. Like, no one had heard of them, and now there seems to be so many people online excited about it because they read the books, so that's really exciting to see. I'm currently watching through a couple different TV shows, so those will be really exciting. I'm partway through a book and I'm really enjoying that. I know there's other films I'm looking forward to, but my brain cannot remember them. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!